Good evening, it's 8:20 p.m. and we're back with an extensive compilation covering operations from late November through early January. This episode features some of the most significant drone strikes from the winter period, including massive artillery destruction, coordinated assault defeats, and precision targeting during the New Year period. What makes this compilation special is that we're covering actual dated incidents with verified results, showing the effectiveness of sustained drone operations over several weeks. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're bringing you comprehensive coverage you won't find elsewhere. Let's begin. This footage shows Ukrainian pilots operating in the Pokrovsk direction. Operators worked accurately and systematically to destroy Russian artillery that the enemy attempted to relocate to strengthen their positions. First came the elimination of more than 15 enemy personnel. Then the neutralization of 2 units of heavy enemy equipment followed. After that, the main target became the artillery pieces themselves. 3 units were destroyed while they were moving along the road. This action prevented Russian soldiers from reinforcing their positions in the Pokrovsk area. Next, we see the destruction of escort vehicles whose job was to protect the convoy. Obviously, they completely failed at their task. In this situation, Russian soldiers believed they could disable the approaching drone, but the pilot stayed focused and neutralized the threat effectively. After that, another FPV was positioned right nearby, and it also performed perfectly. The Russians definitely weren't expecting that second strike to come so quickly. On December 27, 2025, Russian assault troops decided to attempt a crossing near the river. But this turned out to be an extremely bad decision because the leaves had fallen from the trees and they had absolutely no chance of hiding in that area unless, of course, they jumped into the water. But they chose not to do that, and therefore their outcome was quite predictable. The next soldier decided to play a game of hide and seek with the drone. He simply stood behind a tree trunk, occasionally peeking out, to check if the drone was still there and where it was flying. But this basic method won't save him from the professionalism of Ukrainian pilots. The next target decided to lead the drone directly to his own positions, thereby actually reducing the workload for Ukrainian reconnaissance officers. Then, we return to the forest, and once again, it's absolutely packed with Russian soldiers. They attempt to hide among the trees, bushes, and inside trenches. But all these supposed safe shelters become permanent traps for them, where they remain forever. Next up, someone went a bit overboard with the gas pedal. On December 9, 2025, in the Kurakhove district, a Russian tank moved toward Ukrainian positions, attempting to break through the defensive lines. The tank's protection included a so-called anti-drone grille, which is mesh designed to defend against drones, as well as a large number of electronic warfare devices mounted on top. However, none of this equipment helped at all. Several drones and a few well-aimed strikes caused the tank to erupt into flames. After that, Russian soldiers ran out in complete panic and immediately tried to hide themselves in the nearby forest, but they didn't last very long there. They were quickly found by Ukrainian strike drones. Under this protective cover, a Russian artillery cannon had been attacking Ukrainian positions every single day, but that marked the end of its existence. The next Russian soldier used his brain a little bit and tried to destroy the drone by opening fire directly at it. But having one good idea isn't enough. He still needs to actually hit such a small, fast-moving target. Here in the middle of winter on January 1st, 2026, Russian multiple launch rocket system movement was detected, and within just minutes, it was completely destroyed. On that exact same day, Russian soldiers made intensified attempts to break through toward Pokrovsk. They deployed a large number of all-terrain vehicles, cars, and personnel to build up their forces, hoping that after the New Year celebration, Ukrainian soldiers would be less active and alert. But they were very badly mistaken because the complete opposite happened. Ukrainian pilots actually increased the frequency of their combat missions, especially on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. As a direct result, they destroyed more Russian infantry troops and equipment than they normally would on regular days. Also, recently, Russian forces brought in a mobile multiple launch rocket system to prepare for a planned assault. Fortunately, however, it was successfully detected and destroyed using kamikaze drones before it could be used. One of the Ukrainian pilots made a smart decision to set up an ambush for Russian troops by positioning a drone near one of the main roads and simply waiting for targets to appear. The wait wasn't very long at all. This time, the drone spotted two Russian motorcyclists riding toward their forward positions, but they weren't expecting any kind of surprise attack. Upon seeing the drone flying behind them, they immediately realized it was clearly a Ukrainian drone and started riding away extremely quickly without looking back even once. But with every passing second, the drone kept getting closer and closer, and the engine sound became louder and more terrifying to them. One of the riders managed to break away and gain some distance, but the other wasn't so lucky, and he ended up lying motionless, resting permanently in the middle of the open field. In this makeshift toilet, there was a Russian soldier sitting and doing his business, and he was particularly unlucky that day. This was a special day for the pilots of the 5th Separate Assault Brigade. On that single day, in just 10 hours of operations, 5 Russian artillery guns were detected and completely destroyed. The enemy had tried to hide them very carefully under trees, among bushes, and under camouflage netting. But no amount of camouflage can successfully hide what simply doesn't belong on Ukrainian territory. Ukrainian pilots work methodically and professionally, carefully inspecting every suspicious area where the enemy might possibly hide equipment or store ammunition. These precision strikes were the direct result of accurate reconnaissance, cold calculation, and perfectly coordinated teamwork between multiple units. Each destroyed artillery gun means significantly less pressure on Ukrainian defensive positions and represents another concrete step toward the complete expulsion of enemy forces. There were other high-value targets as well, which the Russian military sent to destroy all life on Ukrainian soil. But with the continued support of the international community, all this evil will surely be destroyed and sent back to where it came from. Here we observe the destruction of enemy shelter positions, ruthless, precise, and highly accurate strikes. The winter period presented unique challenges for drone operations that required adaptation and innovation. Cold temperatures affect battery performance, reducing flight times significantly. Operators must calculate missions more carefully, accounting for reduced operational windows. Snow coverage changes the visual landscape, making target identification more difficult in some cases, while providing stark contrast in others. Wind conditions during winter storms create navigation challenges, requiring enhanced pilot skills. Despite these environmental obstacles, Ukrainian drone teams maintained remarkably high operational tempo throughout the holiday period. While many military forces traditionally reduce activities during major holidays, Ukrainian operators recognized this as an opportunity. Russian forces apparently expected reduced pressure during New Year celebrations. This miscalculation proved costly, as Ukrainian pilots actually intensified operations, catching enemy units during vulnerable moments. The systematic targeting of artillery systems deserves special attention. Artillery provides the backbone of Russian offensive capabilities. Without effective artillery support, infantry assaults become far more difficult and costly. By persistently hunting and destroying artillery pieces, Ukrainian forces fundamentally degrade enemy operational capacity. The 5 artillery guns destroyed on November 21st alone represent millions of dollars in lost equipment and months of lost firepower. Convoy interdiction operations demonstrate the importance of controlling supply routes. Every vehicle destroyed represents supplies that never reach the front lines, ammunition that never gets fired, reinforcements that never arrive, food and equipment that troops never receive. The cumulative effect of sustained interdiction operations slowly strangles enemy logistics networks, making it progressively harder to sustain combat operations. The motorcycle ambush on November 30th illustrates tactical creativity and patience. Rather than actively searching the pilot, positioned the drone near a known travel route and waited. This patient approach conserves battery life while maintaining strike capability. When targets appeared, the drone had full power available for pursuit. This hunting methodology has proven extremely effective against motorcycle units, which Russian forces increasingly rely upon for mobility. The tank engagement on December 9th highlights the limitations of passive defensive measures. The so-called anti-drone grill and electronic warfare equipment represented significant investments in protection. Yet coordinated multi-drone attacks overwhelmed these defenses. No single protective measure proves sufficient against determined assault. Only combined defenses with proper training and tactics offer meaningful protection. And even then, success is not guaranteed. The New Year period operations carry symbolic significance beyond tactical results. Maintaining pressure during holidays demonstrates resolve and capability. It signals to opponents that Ukrainian forces will not relent or provide respite. It reassures allies that Ukrainian defenders remain fully committed and effective. These psychological dimensions complement the material damage inflicted. Intelligence gathering and reconnaissance form the foundation enabling successful strikes. Before any drone launches, someone must identify where targets are located. Reconnaissance teams spend countless hours scanning terrain, analyzing patterns, and investigating suspicious indicators. Most reconnaissance missions find nothing actionable. But persistence eventually locates targets, enabling the dramatic strikes shown in compilations like this. Coordination between units amplifies effectiveness exponentially. When one unit spots a target beyond their immediate reach, they alert nearby teams. When one pilot runs low on battery, another picks up the pursuit. When complex targets require multiple strikes, teams coordinate timing and approach angles. This seamless cooperation reflects mature organizational culture and effective communication systems. The sustained campaign from November through January demonstrates endurance and systematic approach. One-off spectacular strikes grab attention, but consistent daily operations win campaigns. Ukrainian drone teams have proven capable of maintaining high-tempo operations indefinitely. This sustainability advantage compounds over time as enemy forces struggle to replace losses, while Ukrainian capabilities continue expanding. we focus primarily on tactical and strategic dimensions. Each strike represents lives, ended families, broken futures, canceled. While defending against invasion requires these actions, the gravity should never be forgotten or celebrated casually. Professional execution of necessary missions, without glorification, represents the appropriate mindset. International observers continue studying these operations intensively, extracting lessons for their own military development. The effectiveness of small unmanned systems against conventional forces has been conclusively demonstrated. Defense establishments worldwide are reprioritizing spending toward drone capabilities. Ukraine is essentially writing the textbook for 21st century warfare through hard-won battlefield experience. Thank you for watching this comprehensive overview of winter operations. The dedication and skill displayed by these pilots and their support teams deserves recognition and respect. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos covering the latest developments. Turn on notifications to catch uploads immediately. Share this content with others interested in understanding modern warfare. Good luck, and we'll see you in the next episode.